Hello everyone, and welcome to Sunup. I'm Lyndall Stout. This time of year, corn and soybean growers are deciding which crop they want to put into the ground this spring. And for those leaning towards soybeans, now is the time to make some key planting decisions. We caught up with soybean producers and industry leaders at this year's Soybean Expo.
Well, the last few years for soybeans have been very interesting. It sounds like the start to a great novel. It was the best of years, it was the worst of years. 09 and 10 were the two best soybean years in Oklahoma, crop production and acreage wise. 11 and 12 with the drought and dry weather were the two worst years of soybean. 2013 was a little bit of a turnaround. Acreage went back up, and so it's we're hoping that good times in soybeans are kind of back again. But it'll be 500,000 acres probably or more planted in Oklahoma in this year. If you look at value of production, we're probably the 8th biggest commodity in the state. If you just look at crops, we're number 2 behind wheat.
Soybeans as a crop has moved very far forward with their technology. They've also given us the possibility of rotations. It gives us a diverse marketing scheme that we can use. And the other thing is soybeans in a good year make you money.
About how many acres of soybeans do you think you'll put in this year?
Wholeheartedly, we hope that will be several hundred acres. With the current moisture situation, I guess we're always recalculating. So let's be hopeful and have our fingers crossed.
Joining us now is John Damicone, our extension plant pathologist. And John, as producers are starting to make their decisions about planting soybeans, what kind of things are on their minds?
Well, it's hard to believe we got snow on the ground here, Lyndall, and we're talking about planting soybeans. But yeah, there's some issues that come up early in the season that soybean farmers need to consider when it comes particularly to disease control on soybeans. And one of those is seed treatments.
And in terms of seed treatments, what kind of considerations are there?
Well, early on, when farmers saved their own seed before the age of Roundup Ready soybeans, now they purchase seeds every year because of the proprietary aspects of variety protection. But before that, seed quality was an issue because they saved their own seeds, so seed treatments were maybe considered more important than they are now. But we've made some advances in the kind of fungicides that we put on seeds, and these help control damping off mainly, or seedling disease. And we've been testing these for the past few years and have found about a half a plant per foot increase in plant stand, and that's correlated with increases in yields. Now the yield increases have been relatively small, about 2 to 3 bushels max, but we're seeing that consistently where we're applying fungicide seed treatments.
And what kind of advice do you have in terms of variety selections in making planting decisions?
Probably the most important thing with selecting a variety is whether they're in a county or in a field that's got cyst nematode. Cyst nematode is a soil-borne nematode disease that only affects soybeans. And the best defense against problems with cyst nematode or yield loss from cyst nematode is selecting a resistant variety. Now there's different sources of resistance that the breeders have bred into soybean, and it would be best if they could alternate those sources of resistance, because that way you prevent against developing new races, and then they could get into a real bind where the race that they have in their field can overcome that variety. And then they'll start suffering yield losses. Many farmers, because most of the varieties are resistant to cyst nematode that are adapted to Oklahoma, they probably don't even know that they have a cyst problem. But we recommend that they rotate those varieties, not plant the same variety every year. Of course, it's really best if they can rotate with corn, sorghum, other non-hosts of the nematode. But if they plant continuous soybeans or consecutive soybeans for several years in a row, it's really a good idea that they alternate those varieties that they plant in the field. So if they go to our website there at okstate.edu and look for my name, and they can find the results of those seed treatment trials and some of our recommendations.
Okay, get a little more information before they
Sure.
figure out what to plant.
Sure.
Okay, thanks
All
a
right.
lot, John.
Okay.
And for a link to that website, just go to sunup.okstate.edu.